All right, here we are, another week around the trash fire. Your host Matthias, on with the boy.
John.
Well, we missed last week, and there's been a lot of news have dropped.
Oh yeah, hype news for me.
Yes, you and your little new project. We've got big. I mean, what was it? Just a release Warhammer. No special name for the event, right?
It's the not Warhammer 40,000 preview, so they did not announce any Warhammer 40,000 thing.
Yes. Yep. So all the Age of Sigmar, everything that was on 40k, got love. So, which is fine because 40k has been getting all the love since the build up of 10th. So it's good to see other IPs get some spotlight going on. But we got that. And I mean, let's just jump right into it. Starting with some of the non-mundane stuff here. We got obviously it's July. So we got our free coin, free model. Well, free in quotations. We got the incinerator, which was just part of the Leviathan box set.
So yeah, that's actually free. You don't need to do anything for that one.
Yep. Well, I meant the coin in when I said free,
Right.
but
The
and
coin is the
then
one that's not actually free.
we got a Terminator coin, which
Yeah,
not look too bad, but
yeah, that one's not actually free. You got to spend money,
yeah,
and I
spend
guess you get the
$100.
coin for free, but it's conditional free.
Spend that $100, you get a little coin, a little collectible coin. But there is that. That's just for the month of July here. Nothing too special. Uh, the Warhammer 40k app. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I can proudly say that it works. It's not a buggy mess like the original 40k app, and it gets the job done. I was able to use it. Well, I didn't personally use it, but everyone in my group that plays 40k was using this app, and yeah, you don't have to be set your location to Ohio to be able to use it. Like when the first 40k app first came out. Overall, have good praise. Good praise for the 40k app team finally getting it right first try here. So that's
Yeah, I think
good.
Battlescribe is finally defeated.
Yeah. Well, maybe if that Battlescribe community formed their own app, maybe they could come up with something better. But since this came out day one with the new edition, I don't think anything's gonna beat this.
Yeah, they have to come up with something better fast.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, I think the one thing an app would, I guess the word is something an app would offer that the 40k app doesn't is free stats.
Which
Um,
Battlescribe has, but
well, not for 10th, but yeah, Battlescribe. That was one of the main features of Battlescribe is you could view unit stats. Now, I didn't like it because sometimes they would get it wrong.
mm-hmm.
But it was a way to view stats. So
Yeah, without having to carry around all the books and everything like that.
yeah,
Had all the army rules too sometimes, depending on how detailed they were with the
yeah,
list there. But
and that part would not be free forever for the Warhammer 40,000 app, especially when Codex is coming out. However, the army list building portion that will forever be free, so you'll be able to make army lists for free forever.
yes,
But for stats, that will not be free. But honestly, I mean, that's fine. I'm always a proponent of have the book on hand or a PDF or something, like have the primary source on hand when looking up rules, just because there's no way to get it wrong because you're reading directly from the book or the PDF or even a picture of the book. I much prefer that than a third party app saying this is what the stats are, because those are not 100% reliable. I forever grained in my memory. I played a Horus Heresy 1.0 and Battlescribe got the points wrong for my army, and because Sons of Horus had a discount on Dreadclaw assault drop pods, but Hellscribe did not factor that in. So I was actually playing down in points with my army. And I don't think they ever fixed that because it was such a niche corner case. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I mean, Battlescribe is very dependent on their community since we all know that the founders gave up a long time ago.
Yep.
So if you don't have a dedicated community keeping it up, it's a hard thing to use sometimes. But I think this will go through. I think this will be the primary thing for 40K.
Very possible.
All right, well, that's enough praise for that. Give it a shot. See what you think about it. But I the fact that it worked day one, it's already 100 times better than the old 40K app. So, good job, GW. Moving on, the battle for Orgharm, Orgram, whatever. The campaign. They've sent out the stats already. Looks like Space Marines are taking the lead, which is not a surprise, considering I think the Space Marines have like 100 more points than the Tyranids.
I'm pretty sure that what's the stat, that breakdown is fake. It's too
close.
It's too close because that's the perfect in terms of like win-loss rate statistics. Between 49 and 51, that's where you want to be, and that's like a realistic indicator of a close game, because it was 50-50 is too unreasonable and too unrealistic. 49-51 is just like not close enough, but still super close to be a draw.
It's very unrealistic.
It's it's too suspect for me. I hope they just fudge it and make the Tyranids win.
That would be nice to see the Tyranids finally get a win here. Finally beat the blue Space Marines back. Would be nice. But yeah, when does this campaign end again? July 10th?
Yeah,
I've got my set all built up. I'm ready to go.
Me and Will already reported our hypothetical game where we just talked it out and said Tyranids would win.
They would just win.
Yep. We were hobbying and like, hey, well, let's play a hypothetical game. I surrender. Tyranids win. Report our score.
Well, I guess that's one way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. So, still have till July 10th to submit your score. Either talk it out like John or actually play the game. Up to you. But there we go. That is that. Interesting news to be dropped. MetaWatch has announced a few things. We got the tournament companion, whatever, the tournament listings that show you how to do stuff, set up the board, some updates to the missions, how to play the missions, or select the missions, I should say. And I haven't really gone over any of this because I'm still trying to grasp 10th edition right now. But this all came out, show you how to set up your board. It's all interesting stuff. But there you go. That's going on. The interesting thing is in the other key documents, they mentioned that that they're going to be addressing some of the imbalances with the primary being Eldari's Fate Dice and Indirect Fire taking precedent in the next big update that they're going to be doing. I mean, I want to get more into this when we get to how you ran sections, but I'm not going to lie. I played my first game of Eldari Wednesday. I felt dirty.
Yeah, they're kind of OP.
Like,
Unsurprisingly.
I didn't even run the cheesy stuff like a Wraith Knight or anything or indirect fire support weapons. Because you know me, I'm all aspect warriors. But I felt dirty playing that army.
Mm-hmm.
That was, yeah, they really need to do something about that. But they're going up with that, and then obviously they made some index deck erratas as well to clarify a few things and get everything situated. But have fun now, Eldari. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not gonna deny they need to be changed, but I hope they don't like throw me into the ground where it's unplayable and I don't have a fun playing aspect warriors, considering they're not really the problem. It's more of the fate system,
Right.
which honestly I don't know why they didn't just keep the current fate system that they had. Yeah, it was RNG, but it wasn't as broken as it is now. And I'll get more into the hobby rants section, but for now, that's what GW is looking into at this moment. All right, so that's all the mundane news there. Now we can get into the model news here with our Sunday preview. And we're going to just quickly go over this because it's nothing really new here. Lion is being sold separately now. You no longer have to buy 3 Blade Guard with him. So he's coming around. We got Boss Snickrot coming around. Previously in the
Boarding patrol, I think.
was it a boarding patrol? Yeah, boarding patrol. He's coming around, as well as Commander Farsight. We're both announced around the same time. Middle Earth is getting stuff. We got Iron Hill Dwarf Warriors with spears.
Forge World, sad face.
Forge World, oh. Truly sad. Anything made by Forge World is truly sad, but these are coming. More dwarves for Lord of the Rings. Black Library, we got the Honor Bound Special Edition being made. If you want to pick it up, pick it up. Got Cypher, Lord of the Fallen, being soft, digital, and audio, as well as the Awakening, same things. Rogodorn being French, Zygmussen being translated into German. And then for Warhammer Plus, we got Lore Masters with the Harbinger lore. It's currently going on in AoS, and Hammer and Bolter Eternal, which shows us a chaplain, I think.
Apparently, the main character is Lucius the Eternal, trying to rescue his friend, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of down for that tomorrow.
Have to take a look. But yeah, nothing really new and exciting for pre-order this week. But again, they just have a big release, so. And you know they were saving all the good stuff for the not Warhammer 40k event. I'm trying to think what my next thing here. New model Monday. We got a Blood Bowl model. Got a good old Vampire Counts model here. Looking I don't know how I really feel about it, but you know. I mean, it looks like a Vampire Count model.
I like it.
It's as much as I can say about it. It's not terrible. It's not awful. Got a little art. Little cartoony art that it's got right here. So, it's not bad. We all know my feelings on Blood Bowl, so I'm not going to elaborate on any of it. But that is that. And then the next thing is the starter boxes for 40k have been announced, which they've been doing ever since AoS, I want to say. Was it AoS or was it
I think it was
uh
no, it was 40k. It
it was
was 9.
40k first?
No. It was AOS. You're right. They split Soul Wars up into the different starter sets, and then 40k followed suit, I believe.
Yes. That makes sense. So, we're getting 3 different box sets here. We're getting the introduction, the starter set, and the ultimate starter set. So, introduction looks like you get paint, clippers, basic supplies, 5 incinerators, 10 termagants, and a ripper swarm. Looks like all you getting in
Yeah,
there.
I like that because if you've never played a war game, this has the paints, it has clippers, they're push fit, and they're actually some of the best push fit models I've worked on. Kind of really don't need glue. I mean, you should use glue if you have glue, but if you don't have glue, it's not necessary in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great set if you've never played Warhammer or any war game. If you played war games before, maybe you wouldn't really recommend this. But it's great for complete newbies, which we need more of.
Yes. We got that. We got the starter set, which is your basic, which comes with a little more. For the Space Marines, you got 5 Terminators, Terminator Captain, and then obviously the 5 Incinerators. And then for the Tyranids, more Gaunts, 5 oh no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Wing Tyranid Prime, Von Ryan Leapers, Cyclophage, 20 Termagants, and 2 Ripper Swarms. And then the ultimate. Oh, also you get the board as well. And then in the ultimate, you get everything plus, I think, the Librarian for the Space Marines and the what is it? And 5 barb grants, as well as the bunker STC have bunkers terrain. So I don't
So
know
that
if
one,
it'd be much more worth it to grab this.
I think so because it is the combat patrol. So you get the full combat patrol for each side with that box. And the price point is probably the same as another combat patrol, I imagine. So if you and a buddy want to start Space Marines or Tyranids and like the idea of combat patrol, this is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, okay. I guess I can see you on that point. But yeah, because that obviously comes with the rule books and indexes, everything you need to play for the starter set and the ultimate starter set. So overall, not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, no strong feelings about the contents. I am glad though that they have the combat patrol version because they're really pushing combat patrol and having a way for people to just get the combat patrol
Mm-hmm.
is good, I think.
Yes. Well, they want to get as many people in as fast as possible. They don't want you to. I mean, they want you to spend all the money to buy a big army, but they gotta get you hooked onto the system first.
Yes.
And I think that's it. I think everything else is the Warhammer Not 40k event. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these reveals that they did. Starting off, we got the what is this, Word Hollow? The Skaven team for
Underworlds.
Underworlds. And we got a bunch of Plague Monks in this one. I like these.
Yeah, I think these are great sculpts. If you're a Skaven player, it's I mean, if you just want to have some Skaven models, these are like HD modern Skaven models. It's kind of unfortunate that Skaven have yet to see a massive range refresh. Like, if you want to play a Skaven army in Age of Sigmar, you're kind of still using a bunch of old troops from the 90s, early 2000s. But thankfully, if you're playing Underworlds or Warcry, or if you're running some Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar RPG, whether it's Soulbound or the WHFRP system, and you want some Skaven, the Underworlds line has you covered. There's so many cool Skaven that they have, these included.
Yeah, they're nice designs, very different from what we've seen so far. And I mean, a normal Plague Monk looks like this guy, the one with just the two blades in hands. So it's good to see them being updated. Now, if only the army will be updated.
Yeah, that's the wish, right?
I mean, we'll get to them, but they were busy working on another army. But that is the Underworld's news. I don't think there was anything else announced. Yeah. It's cards. I don't really know what to say about the cards, so. Underworld, more rats. 30k. We got a knight.
And it's kind of funny because it's also a 40k announcement.
Technically, yes. It is also a 40k announcement, but it falls under the 30k.
Yep.
So, since this is your territory, what are your thoughts?
I just kind of don't care. Unfortunately, I'm not the biggest fan of knights. I went through my knight phase in my wargaming life, so and I'm kind of whatever with them now. And also, but I would be more excited if they just weren't absolute garbage in game, unless you play a knight army, because the issue with knights is they don't have a lot of weapons that are AP3 or AP2 especially. And they don't have a lot of knights that are naturally weapon skill 5. And I believe all knights default. I could be wrong, don't quote me with the word all, but most, for sure most, if not all knights are weapon skill 4. Which means that if you're fighting a Contemptor Dreadnought or a Leviathan, you're hitting that Dreadnought on 5s in melee. And they will probably murder you because they hit you on 3s and probably have Chain Fist or something. Or even if they just have the Strength 9 melee weapon, they're probably still going to punch you before you get to punch them back with your weapon skill 4. Now, if you play a knight army, you get access to some special rules that allow you to increase the weapon skill of your knights. But if you don't, then you're just kind of screwed because, again, if you're allying it to your Space Marine army and you're playing against another Space Marine army and they have a Contemptor, I'm just going to rush my Contemptor into your knight. Or even if I have like an elite unit that is weapon skill 5, they could probably, at worst, hold your knight in melee as it fails to hit you because you're hitting on 5s, maybe killing one guy a turn while they hit you on 3s. And at best, you'll just lose the knight in melee against an elite unit. So it just kind of, I mean, again, 30k is a narrative game, but it's not very narratively cool if your cool, awesome plastic model just gets stomped by a Contemptor half its size. So it's kind of not that hype for me personally. Now, I'm glad it exists. I don't think they're wasting their time and they should make other plastic models instead. I think this is good. Again, more plastic is never bad, in my opinion. And these are cool models. I will not disagree that these aren't, that when people say these are cool models, like they are cool models. And they're plastic, and they're more posable than the resin ones. And like we joked about earlier, these are also 40k models. Not that knight, and 40k knights are the opposite. They're super strong right now because of towering. But yeah, if you want to run your plastic, if you want to run Cerastus knights in your knight house or ally them in your army, you can do that in plastic now, which is great. Now the question is how they're gonna box these up. If they're gonna be one kit, if they're gonna be 3 kits, or they're gonna have upgrade sprues. Who knows? So overall, I'm glad this happened, but it doesn't excite me.
Yeah, I don't own any knights, so I don't have any excitement for them. I've never been a fan of the knights. I always thought when knights got introduced into 7th edition, and 7th edition was just like the escalating edition in my opinion, where it's like everyone gets a fire. Okay, now that everyone has a fire, what do they get next? all right, now everyone's gonna be getting a Titan, and then I felt like I didn't really like the additions of the escalations, which is why I regard 7th as probably one of the worst additions in my opinion. But
Won't disagree there.
yeah, I have no feelings on the knight. It looks cool. I'll give you that. I don't hate it,
Right.
but I would never personally pick up a knight because I don't like knights. And the fact that in 30k you're telling me that this thing can get destroyed by a Contemptor Dread and Dreadnought is hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, if it hits the Contemptor, if you charge the Contemptor with your Lancer or your Cerastus and hit him, if you hit, 4 out of 5 of your attacks, you'll probably smash him. But statistically, you'll probably hit one and then miss the rest. While it just murders you. Because again, you hit it on 5s. That's a big deal.
Yeah. It's a bit crazy when you say it like that.
Now, if I was to be more critical than I am, I wish they would release just more plastic infantry. I mean, I'm speaking to the choir at this point, and the 30k community is a broken record, but where's the plastic infantry, Again, I'm not mad that this happens because it's just good for everyone, but in terms of where's my thing now, this isn't plastic assault marines, it's not plastic breachers, it's not new armor marks, which is the one thing that if you play in a 30k, you're probably playing Space Marines, and you want variety in your troops in plastic that's not just tactical Marines. You want those assault Marines, you want those breachers, you want those recon Marines, and all that. So that's the worst thing I could say about this, that it's not, they're doing this instead of plastic infantry, but again, I'm not mad. Some people are genuinely pissed off at this release, and I'm not like one of those people. I'm just lukewarm, if anything.
Yeah. Well, we can move on from 30k here to Warcry. We got Cruel Boys team that was announced, and it's a very interesting batch we got here. We got some monkeys in a Warcry.
Living monkeys this time, unlike the undead monkeys from the Flesh Eaters. These are actually alive.
Yeah, them. We got your standard boys covered in some Lizardman skin, some other hides as well. Very well sculpted, of course. And then we got the War Boss, who's got a lot going on. I must say, he's got a lot going on in his design here. And then we got a little goblin over there with a little egg he's holding as well. Overall, I mean, it's a unique team. It's nice.
Yeah, I like it. It's cool.
It's what I expect from Warcry. It's what I expect from Warcry / Underworld. I always expect high graded models, because they take time to make them look interesting, which is why I always like their models. And when they release disappointing models, I let my feelings be known how disappointed I am with them. These guys, even though they're greenskins, and I don't really care too much for greenskins, they look good. I like them.
I don't know what it is though about these Warcry warbands that don't have ranged characters. This is like, there's so many. I'm not sure if it's in a row, but there's been so many Warcry warbands that just don't have a ranged unit. And again, I don't mean like a ranged team like Caradrons or something or Wood Elves that's all just bows and guns. I mean just like one or two ranged fighters or maybe not more. Maybe they're more than one, because some of them have one, and I feel it's not enough. Maybe like two ranged fighters with like bows or throwing spears or something, crossbows. I don't know, just to make the gameplay have some variety in that. I've seen a lot of all melee teams, and it's just,
yeah, I understand that. It's I mean, I think it's a lot of strategy when it's just an all melee team, but variety does help out a lot.
Yeah.
And not that there isn't any strategy with having a ranged team, but or at least some range in the team. But it all depends on the warband, right?
Right.
Certain models will have more than others.
Right.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that one.
Yeah, but that said, I still like them. They're still cool,
Yeah, they're
and
doing a
they're
good
way
job.
cool. Yeah, I could see myself combining this with the Underworld Warband to have like a Cruel Boys team, which is that would be cool. Sounds like a cool idea, a cool project, mini project.
Yep. There you go. There's that, and then we're getting to the good stuff. Bretonnians got a model reveal. Just, classic Bretonnians. All
Man,
painted up, all nice.
in a vacuum, this would be cool, but because it's a cool fantasy model. It's a new fantasy model. But you remember, this is going to be resin, like forge-rolled resin. And this was did you watch the stream,
I
Matt?
did not watch the stream.
Yes, I watched the stream, and they announced this after the Cities of Sigmar stuff. We're going to talk about it later, but those are some cool models. And then they announced this guy, and he just looks like trash compared to them in terms of just he looks like a dwarf. Like the proportions are just kind of off. You know what I mean? Like his torso looks just smushed together, and it's again that's the design of fantasy models, but especially after seeing this after the Cities of Sigmar stuff, it just looks bad. I I just it looks bad to me. So
Yeah, it just they gotta get their models out there, right?
right,
Bit
right,
by
they really,
bit.
yeah,
It looks nice, but yeah, when we look at the Cities of Sigmar, you'll see a big difference, which I
yeah,
think they
huge
are
difference.
next. Yes, City of Sigmar is the next story we're talking about, and yeah, we got good stuff coming here. Just look at these models. Look at all the details. John, you being the one that was the most hyped for this, I already know what you're gonna say, but why don't you say it?
Oh, dude, I'm so hyped. This is so cool. Now, if it wasn't for the next announcement that you're gonna talk about, this would be my next project for sure. But I think I'm just gonna buy this launch box and it's gonna sit in my closet. For the deal. We're gonna, and you'll know why when we talk about I think the next announcement. But yeah, this is great. The model, it's a very, what's the word? This box set looks very tame. It's 2 infantry, 2 heroes, and cavalry. There's no big centerpiece, but that's fine. Like if you're starting the army, which I am gonna be, I think this is a good start. It's not too overwhelming. You just got your cavalry, your infantry, your characters, and they announced this new wizard. Cool throwback to Warhammer Fantasy. It's a Lord Metal wizard. That's super cool. Infantry looks great. It's not exactly, but it's what I wanted for Cities of Sigmar. Cavalry we've seen already. I'm not a fan of the army book cover. It's just a bunch of faction symbols of the different cities and crusades and stuff. I'd rather have a cool art piece, but whatever.
It's the
And
Cities
then
of
you
Sigmar, John.
God, all right, it's the city's flags. I much prefer they have an actual city there or something. But and then they announced this hero model. So she's super cool. I actually really like this model. It's a cool centerpiece. Might be a nightmare transport, but whatever. I'll figure it out somehow. But it's a cool manticore. You got the general on top. It's interesting that she is a named character with options. So it looks like she could give her a sword, a mace, or an axe. We don't see that often in Warhammer games where you have a named special character with options. So that's interesting. I'm surprised that they didn't just announce her as a dual kit with like a generic commander on a creature, because we see that often where you have, like, I believe I was talking to Will about this, and he has the Cruel Boys Vulture, which could be built as a special character or as a generic shaman and a vulture. But for her, it seems that it's not it could still be a dual kit. Who knows? They didn't deny that. But it is interesting that she has options as a named special character.
I mean, it's just a beautiful model.
Oh, it's absolutely great model, and definitely want that for this army that I will start.
This army that'll sit in your closet.
This army is still in my closet for a while until I finish the other project that I will be starting. That I have already technically started, but yeah. So this is great. This Sigmar will be coming soon, and it is exciting to me. Finally, I'll have the AoS army I want, even though I have a vampire and I have a bunch of AoS stuff. But I think this is, and I've spoken about this before. I want to have an army of the humans. The world just seems more interesting from the eyes of your basic dudes and dudettes kind of thing. The example I always use is you got all these crazy, scary creatures. Like the one I think of is the Cruel Boy, like Dobby creature, where it's supposed to be like stalking in the swamp, and there's a boat in its back, and you think it's just a boat with some orcs, but oh, the creature rises from the swamps, and there's this scary like giant Dobby ready to eat your face. But then if your army's like an army of vampires, like me, like skeletons, like oh, I don't care, I'm a skeleton. It's not scary to me. Or if I'm Stormcast, like whatever, I'm super soldiers, right? But if you're humans, then when I play against other armies, it just seems more interesting to me thinking about the human perspective against these crazy creatures. And it's not even a whole like, oh, like the Imperial Guard, they stand against the horrors and they're just regular people. Yeah, I mean that's cool, but for me it's just kind of immersing myself in the lore and the world through this army of generic humans. But yeah, that's why I'm hyped for the Cities of Sigmar stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they get more releases.
Mm-hmm.
Not stuck with some.
I think so. I think they'll have more than that. Kind of like with Lizardmen.
True, but Lizardman had a big history. I mean, I know
That's true.
Cities of Sigmar has a big history too, but
Yeah.
you know how Age of Sigmar is. They like to give you like small portion of an army for a while and then not give you anything for another like 2 or 3 years.
Right, right. So hopefully it's not the case. Or hopefully it's going to be a full range release.
Yeah, that is that. We got one more big news story from the Not 40K event, and that is the announcement of a new old game. We are getting Epic back.
Epic. It's called Legions Imperial. Yeah, Legions Imperialis, and that name sucks. I'm gonna call it Epic. Everyone I know is calling it Epic. It's Epic. Understand that there's some copyright issues there. They have to have some fancy Warhammer name. Whatever. Name is a name. Holy fuck, this game is hype. This is so cool. I've been stealthily asking for this since AT came out, and holy cow, it is here. We got 8mm Warhammer. So, for those of you who don't know, Epic is a game the Games Workshop used to support where it's like 40K, except the models are smaller. So, kind of like how in Adeptus Titanicus, the Titans are smaller than the 40K scale Titans. So, you got Space Marines here the size of your foot, your Space Marine's foot in 40K. Like they're shorter than the Primaris's leg, right? So they're tiny models, but on the flip side, you get to have a lot of them, so battlefields feel bigger. You got in 40K, even in 30K, you'll run about 60 to 80 Space Marines, but in Epic, you'll run like hundreds of Space Marines. And so the battles feel massive. Aircraft soaring ahead makes more sense. You got artillery firing, miles away and all that, and you got your formations of infantry, your tank companies, your Titans get to maneuver and do stuff. I think this is just reading the books and the battles. I think this is a more authentic way of experiencing like Warhammer, in my opinion. If you want to really just get the lore in, for not all the time, right? There's some lore, there's some stories where it's pretty small scale, and playing 40K or 30K would capture that. But just this, where you have massive battlefields and you have hundreds of Marines and tanks, and you got Titans and freaking blown up buildings. Like, this is so cool. And I stopped all my Warhammer projects except for my 40K Red Scorpions. Everything after is now canceled, and this is my next project. This is so hyped. And I was joking earlier, not joking, I was serious. Like, I already started this because I already have a full Adeptus Titanicus maniple. I got like 5 fully painted Titans of Legio Mortis. So I'm gonna do some Sons of Horus because they're homies in the lore. So I already pre-ordered this box at a local game store. And yeah, I'm gonna be painting them as Sons of Horus. Gonna have my Chthonian Headhunter Solar Auxilia, and man, they get 2 more War. This is so freaking cool. This is the Warhammer I've been asking in my heart, not publicly.
Well, you're getting it. I know a couple, maybe it was a month or two ago, you said that you were getting into Epic.
Yeah, we were trying to 3D print some stuff, but not having an official rule system kind of makes it difficult because fan rules are either overly complicated or just weird. But having an official kind of rule set that's gonna get support, we're gonna get plastic models, we're gonna get everything that that's super cool. And yeah, and you could probably still print stuff, and probably will be printing stuff that will go alongside this. But that said, here we go. Again, this massive battlefield of the 31st millennium. And Aeronautica Imperialis already has some models out. You could use those in this. You got your aircraft squadrons and all that.
Yeah, it is sad that it is only 30K though, but
Yeah, I mean it makes sense to launch it as 30K because you only need to produce one set of models. Like if you make a Titan, a Space Marine, or a Solar Auxilia unit, they work for both sides. Well, if you do a 40K release, orcs are only going to be for orc players. Tyranids are only going to be for Tyranid players. I mean, eventually in the future, it would be neat to have epic, like, having Gargants and Tyranid Bio Titans and all that. That would be super cool. But I think right now, to launch the game as Heresy, I think that makes sense to open the way in the future for more epic stuff. But yeah, man, this is so cool. And this is coming out in August. So I got a month and some change to finish what I have. And then, because I'm going ham on this. I might even get. I don't know if I'll get 2 boxes because I don't want that much Solar Ox, but hopefully maybe I'll get 2 boxes. I don't know. This is so freaking hype. Already,
nice.
Already excited for the massive freaking battlefields with all these Space Marines like flooding the board, and it's gonna be so cool.
Yes, I just want to talk about one more article here. Is the 10 things you need to know about Legion here. So just a few things, obviously. Age of Darkness, epic scale. You got general eyes view, non-stop action, whatever you want to call that. Unrelenting war.
Yeah, it seems it's going to have alternate activations, which is cool between because how it works is your unit, like if you look at let's look at the picture that they showed of the box set. You have a group of Space Marines and a command squad. So that's a unit. Basing it on old Epic, that's like a unit, right? And so you move that, so you activate that formation once, or at once, and then your opponent will activate their formation. So you alternate. So there's alternate activations. Something super cool too that they revealed in that article you're talking about, Matt, is you could blow up buildings, which is great because it's like you have Titans, man. They got those volcano cannons and plasma annihilators. Yeah, it makes sense. You could blow up some buildings.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to at the end there. But it's a neat system, being able to blow up terrain. I mean, I forgot what edition it was. I'm pretty sure it was 7th edition. You could blow up terrain. No one really did it though.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward and weird, but here it would
make more sense.
That's how you do it.
But yeah, it looks interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna jump into it immediately, but I've got someone who's very enthusiastic of playing it, so maybe I'll get a pickup game with them and see.
It's also so easy to paint because there's like no detail. You kind of can't, which is attractive to me because like, I don't have to worry about painting the models too well because, like, I can't because there's just no detail, which is great because you're gonna have hundreds of them. Who cares if your Space Marines have trim when you have 300 of them?
Yeah, I mean, these are pretty much like Flames of War.
Oh yeah.
You just have a bunch of little models. You just what was the method? Easy method. You dip it.
Yeah,
you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
Obviously, someone for a Warhammer, obviously going ham on the details on the little models there to make them look appealing as best they can. But yeah, most people are just gonna do like what those assault marines look like, just two colors, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
wash, and that's it.
Yep.
But yeah, that is the big news. That is pretty much. I'm sure there's some Warhammer news I've missed. I haven't really been able to keep up with the news at this time, but that is all I've got. Is there anything you want to talk about before we hit our hobby rants?
I think that's it.
All right then. What have you been up to since the last time we've talked, which was like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so I got, Leviathan, was building and painting it, finishing up my Red Scorpion model. Played some Shatterpoint, so more games of that.
How's
And I
that
think
going?
it's pretty good. I mean, right now the game only has three. Again, the game has no factions, but there's kind of only three, archetypes in faction archetypes, which is clones, droids, and Mandalorians. So not a lot of variety yet, but soon we'll be getting more clones, which will open up army building a bit, because right now you can only really run Anakin, Obi-Wan for clones, but now they're adding some more Jedi, and then we're gonna get Grievous and some super battle droids, so you're gonna have more variety too with the droid army archetype. And then we're gonna get Inquisitors, Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan, which is, as I mentioned before, gonna be my main force. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna pick that up on Friday, kind of build and paint it as fast as possible, and take them in the battlefield. So yeah, I mean, SharePoint's been good. It's getting up steam here in the LA community. Lots of stores, people playing it. It's a fun kind of board game, miniature game hybrid, and yeah, it's just another cool game with really, I think, really good rules. Also trying to prep for the Legion tournament coming, I think, next week, which has it's gonna be next Sunday. Gonna have a Worlds ticket on the line. I don't know if I'll get first place, but I do at least want to get top 3. So I'm gonna be bringing Boba and IG88 to that one. As for the hobby side, like I mentioned, I was trying to paint my Red Scorpions. I finished my 30k army for Word Bears, 3,000 points, all done painted. I just need to put some transfers on some heavy weapon squad, or a heavy weapon squad and a dreadnought, and then I'm fully done with that army. Good timing too, because now I'm working on some Red Scorpions, and then they're gonna have Epic in the next month. But yeah, pretty much that.
Well, that's good. You're getting your hobby and gaming in. For
Oh,
me,
true.
I got my Leviathan box a little bit later than everyone else, since I ordered GW, and you know, GW doesn't like to send to your home day of release. They like to send it a couple of days after. So I got my Leviathan box Wednesday. So I've just been working on putting together all the Space Marines from there. I'm almost done. I think I just have the apothecary, the librarian, and the dreadnought to build left.
Right.
Everything else is good to be built. Though honestly, you're probably not going to build the librarian, given that I'm Black Templar, so not going to be needing that. I got my first game of 10th edition in, so that was good. I just did a little 2v2 game, since my whole group is learning how to play the game. So we got to play with the new mission card system, which is interesting. It's an interesting system. It's definitely more variety compared to the old missions that we used to do. You just pick your 3 missions that you're gonna do the entire game and then score it that way. Which, I mean, depending on how you play your game, you could still do that. You could still just pick 2 cards and continue to score those for the rest of the game if you want to. But we did the rotating. Once you score the mission cards, you discard them and draw another card kind of deal. So that was fun. The teams were Eldari and Ultramarines against Blood Angels and Sisters of Battle. So, and what I must say, I ran the Avatar Arcane. Of course, it was 1,000 points per player. I ran Avatar Arcane. He went against Dante and the Sanguine Guard, and I would have lost the Avatar, just given how much damage or how many attacks he was successfully able to get through. Given that it was also Oath of Moment, the Avatar, which allows you to reroll everything against him.
Right.
Yeah. Eldari Fate Dice. I wrote these off as being, kind of underwhelming. The fact that you only get 12 the entire game. But what I did not understand was that you could use the Fate Dice on anything.
Mm-hmm.
No cap. Where, example being the Sisters Battle, they can only use one Miracle Dice per, roll. I could just replace everything if I really wanted to. And that's how I saved my Avatar. That was the most broken thing I could ever think of. I'm like, this is disgusting. This is very unbalanced. Now I'm seeing why people are very are hating the Eldari so much right now. I mean, granted, everyone's running the 3 fire prisms and the Wraith Knights getting the devastating wounds and just going ham on that, but the fact that there's no cap on how many Fate Dice I can use is it's quite bad design. I'm surprised it made it through the play testing. But should be no surprise that the Eldari and the Ultramarines won the game. I don't know if we were just lucky on our card drawing, but we were just drawing the cards and we were just scoring the victory points, no problem. So it was an interesting system. We only made it to the end of turn 3, given that 2v2 game has like 3 new players, so they don't really know their rules and they don't know what they're doing too much.
Right.
But yeah, it was interesting. I want to see what it's like on a 1v1 scale, so I'll probably find out this week. But yeah, it was interesting. I don't know. I might jump off the Eldar, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the new changes. Because honestly, like I said, I only play the Aspect Warriors. Karandris and the Striking Scorpions, that is a nasty combo in itself. Karandris, if you put Karandris in the Scorpion squad, gives a +1 to hit. And just the amount of mortal wounds they can dish out with their Mandy Blasters is also just disgusting. Because they get 4 attacks each, hitting on 2+ if they have Karandris in their squad. And it's just gross. I also learned a fun fact in that game. I didn't realize that characters could join specific units. Or sorry, could only join specific units.
Mm-hmm.
When we were going over, they could join. Characters can join units. I was like, oh, this is just like 7th edition, so they could just go in whatever unit they want. No, I found out the hard way that is not the case, because I did not read that rule right. So I had unfortunately had a Farseer and a Warlock just sitting out in the open because they couldn't be in the groups that I wanted to put them in. So I learned that the hard way. So that made me definitely change up my list a bit better synergize my army. But yeah, other than that, I had fun playing it. It felt a bit slow in my opinion, but then again, it was only the first game of our 10th edition experience, so it could change, but we'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, but not simplified, or whatever their phrase is. I don't know. It, if the game still feels too long, I don't know if they did a good job simplifying it, but we'll see.
It's just hard because 40K has a billion factions and a trillion data sheets.
It's true.
It's just, I think it's just that's just the nature of the game. If your war game keeps growing, again, War Machine had to hit the reset button for Mark IV because he just had too many units, and now you can only use what 5, maybe more than 10. Okay, more than 10%, but at least less than half are now playable in the competitive game mode because it gets unwieldy. You run into the Magic the Gathering problem of like some cards are just better than other cards. I added this card to one of my decks, and it's just a better version of a card that I already have. It costs the same, and it just so the old card only buffs I think token creatures, and this one buffs every creature, and it costs the same. It's just a better card. But in a war game, when it's more than just cardboard, it's a model that gets tough because you don't want to just invalidate a unit with another unit. But if you have a billion units, that again, it doesn't really literally have a billion, just has hundreds of units in 40K, which is a lot for a war game. Yeah, if you have that many units, you're bound to have. It's just impossible, almost impossible to have a balanced game where every single unit's viable. Especially if your main design philosophy is to make cool models and not necessarily make a balanced game. Which that's what they want, right? Games Workshop exists to make cool models, not necessarily to make a balanced game. That's
Of course.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll be getting another 40K game in. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, hobby wise, I'm just working on the Leviathan box set, working on my Black Templars now that I've got the influx of new Marines, and go from there. Don't really have anything else on the palette. I'll be getting an update tomorrow. Should have Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarter finally mailed out to me. If they aren't lying to me, it's been like 5 years, so 4 years. It's got to be coming. It's got to be coming soon now. But they said there's be an update tomorrow, so I'll let you all know next week what they said. But yeah, that is that. Oh, I also finished a book, audiobook, of course. That I don't read the physical books since I have a long drive to work. It's a good time to listen to it. I finished The Twice Dead King Ruin. This is the Necron book. And you know what? It was really good. I liked it. Got a little deeper into the Necron lore, how everything works in their society. We're mainly following an outcast in this story, where he's pretty much just on his own defending the outskirt planets from orc invasion. And of course, later on as the story goes on, there's a bigger threat that's on the way, and there's already things happening within Necron society that he'll also have to deal with. It was a good book. So far, the 2 Necron books that I've read, I've thoroughly enjoyed.
That's good.
So I've now started Hell's Reach with Grimaldus.
That's a great one. That's one of the probably the best solo Space Marine novel like ever, I think.
Yeah,
It
you
just
and
fucking
Will have
stays-
given it such high praise, so I
Yeah.
thought I'd finally get into it. And I'm about just a little under halfway through the book.
Okay.
And yeah, it's good.
And the narration just makes it even better with the Jonathan Keeble.
Yes, yes, it does. I don't like what he did with Hellbrick's voice, but
Yes, that is weird, I will say. But Grimaldas and Friends, excellent.
excellent voice. But yeah, it's very good. Very good so far. But if you're looking for something different, again, I would recommend The Twice Dead King Ruin. Excellent book. But yeah, that is it. That is all I've got going on. As anything that I miss, anything that you want to talk about before we end out here?
I think that's it.
All right then. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who made it to the end, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.